Hey y'all, welcome back to this channel. I am Audrey Marie, and today I'm going to be covering the books that I read in, what month was it? March? Yeah, in March, which wasn't a whole lot. I'll admit it was not a whole lot compared to January and February, but I am in my last semester of college, so all my attention has been put into my last semester and my thesis project. So that is what's had my attention for the past couple months, and it is getting close to the end of my semester. I have 2.5 weeks left, if that, and I have my final presentation in 2 days, and my slideshow of this presentation was due a couple days ago. So this week I am a little stressed and I haven't really been in the mood to read, but I still was able to read a couple in March. Wasn't a whole lot, but I would say this little stack I got here was pretty good for March. I wasn't looking for this big fantasy book series. I needed something easy that I could just play and I could get the gist without thinking too hard. So I paused my Throne of Glass series. I'm still actively working on physically reading Empire Storm and Tower of Dawn. I'm about 200-ish pages in both of them. So I was reading that through March and I'm still reading it as of now. I just haven't been able to physically sit down and read books. I may have physical copies of the ones I had to get through in March, but all of these were done through audiobooks. So with that, I started off the month with Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the second book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and I know they're working on the second season, so I figured I would get into this book because I love the first book. I love the TV show, so I wanted to see what this one had in store because it was a little bit different than the first one because it was on a research project and her friend's brother went missing and the police wouldn't do anything, so she got involved. And you go on to her journey of figuring out what was going on. I really enjoyed this. The ending really got my adrenaline going and I was very stressed out. I was very surprised at what was going on at the end of this book. I think what happened throughout this book made sense. I did pull out the physical book at a couple different times throughout me listening to it as an audiobook, and I didn't realize that there was actually evidence photos throughout the book and floor plan drawings of certain things they were taking note of throughout the investigation Pip was running. I love the little moments of daily life where her parents are worried for her and also her connection with Ravi. I'm really enjoying the growth between those two characters and just the connection she's building with her family. I'm excited to get to the third one at some point. It wasn't that tough of a book to get through. It was so simple and it was a pretty short book, so I think it was a good book to just listen to as an audiobook. I did enjoy this. After that, I figured I would jump into just a fluffy romance, and I found the audiobook of Wild Card by Elsie Silver. This is the last book of the Rose Hill series. I did enjoy this. The age difference and also the connection the FMC had with the MMC's son, that was a little odd to me, but the way Elsie Silver puts it together and builds the relationship makes sense as to what was happening. It was interesting. Not my favorite. This one is better than Wild Side, I'll say, but doesn't top my first two favorites of the series. So I'm excited to jump into another series by Elsie Silver. I love bonfires. I love when fire is used in a controlled environment. When it comes down to fire and the possibility of wiping out a town or a house, it does not bode well with me. I was very stressed throughout the ending, I will say, but I'm not surprised that that happened. It was building up that throughout the book, and at the end when they were looking for Gwen, I figured out exactly where she went. Like, it wasn't that surprising as to what happened. And also I noticed them constantly bringing up this one male character. It wasn't the MMC, but they were bringing up this one character, and I was like, I wonder if that's gonna be the introduction of the new MMC of the new series Elsie Silver's been cooking up. And lo and behold, it is. I looked it up and that's the MMC of her new series. My goal is to finish her entire backlog, so I'll jump into her Gold Rush Ranch series next and wait for her future series to get more completed because the first book in that series hasn't even been released. So I really did enjoy this. After Wild Card, I was like, I'm gonna jump into this very easy, interesting summer read We Were Liars. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I avoided spoilers of the TV show. That's kind of why I wanted to read this, is because I was like, oh, it's like a summary book, get myself in the vibes, need a break from school. I was not expecting the plot twist at the end. I was breaking down crying. I didn't know what to expect when going into this. I was like, oh, it's just a family going on to this island all together for the summer. A revolution, an accident, a secret, trying to find lies upon lies, true love, the truth. You're trying to figure out what was going on with this family. And throughout this book, I was like, oh, like, what's going on? There's no answers. Everything's so confusing. Nobody's answering the questions that I have, the main character has, and everybody's avoiding it. Nobody's mentioning anything. Why are these certain characters not going to have dinner with the rest of them? What happened in this one summer that is now causing such a domino effect in everybody's life? When it got revealed, I cried. It was one reveal, I cried. Another reveal, I cried. I had a breakdown that night because I was reading this at like 1, 2 a.m. listening to it while I was just trying to take a little bit of a break from spending hours upon hours my studio project. I had a breakdown, and it took me at least an hour to 2 hours for me to calm down after finishing this book for me to go to bed. I was not prepared for what was in this book. I'm constantly thinking about this book. The plot twist got me. I was not expecting it. I'm so glad I stayed away from all the spoilers that were online. I want to watch the TV series of this, but I need a little bit of a breather before I jump into that. Speechless at the end. I literally could not pull myself together after I finished this book. Like, I was down in the depths. It took me a day or two for me to get back after this. I think me also listening to the audiobook of this helped, because at the end you could hear voice cracks in the audiobook. You could hear her scream, you could hear what was going on, and you could feel the emotion pulled out of these characters in the audiobook. I think that also helped with my love for this book and how much it impacted me and my personal life experiences. I can see why some people might not like this book and see why it didn't hit as much as it did for me. Like, the book hit hard for me. I saw a lot of different things in my own life in this book, so it hit me hard. I want to explore more of this world because I have the prequel. I have Family of Liars back here as well. So I want to jump into that one, and I'll be more prepared for the next book in that series. And then last but not least, I didn't want a romance. I didn't want a fantasy still because I'm barely getting 5 hours of sleep. My last book that I finally got around to was The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I had this book on my TV for maybe a year or so. I just wanted the perfect time to listen to it. I just felt like it was the perfect time to pick out this book. I cried really heavily at the end of We Were Liars, and I thought, let's get into another book that I have a high chance of crying during. I cried at the end of it. Shocker, no, not really. I really enjoyed this book. What happened at the end, I was not expecting. I really liked how you were jumping from timelines between the two sisters. You had the present day, this one old lady. It doesn't get revealed who the old lady is specifically, but you have her timeline and her dealing with being asked to come back to France after everything that happened, to have like a little speech kind of thing regarding the war. And then you have the timeline during the war of the two different point of views of the sisters. So you have them you're following as well. In the beginning, the jumping back and forth was a little confusing, but as the book went on and you finally understood the characters and the connection between the two of them, it got so easy to figure out whose point of view were you were looking at. I could picture everything that happened. This book really hit me in my emotions too. There was a couple different times where I almost cried. This book was a little dabble into something out of my norm. Normally I just do romance and fantasy. This was very different than what I normally read, and I'm so glad I was able to read it and experience what was going on, and especially prior to the movie they're making of it. I think they just started filming the movie of this, so I'm excited to see where they take the movie and how close though they're gonna get to this one and see the connection between the two sisters on a screen. I'm so intrigued. I really love this book. I think about these characters a lot and what happened to them. I even read through the little Nightingale author reading group gold selection at the end, and I was very intrigued as to how she came about being inspired to write this book. The topics were heavy. The content and the timeline of the book and what was going on was heavy. I want to pick up more of Kristen Hanna books and dabble into a different realm of a genre, definitely out of my comfort zone. I wanted to explore another genre and just do something different than what I normally do, and I think it came into my life at the perfect time, and I really enjoy it. This book got me into my feels, and that's what I was looking for. March was an interesting month. I cried a lot and didn't physically read at all. This was all audiobooks, so I'm very happy with the 4 books that I read. I really liked all of these and even loved a couple of them, so I think my March books that I read was absolutely perfect. Even though I only read 4, I'm not sad. These were such good books that I read. So I'm excited to see what April has in store. I will give you a little spoiler as to what I'm currently reading. The last one by Rachel Hausenhall. Hauselhall. Currently reading this book. I don't know how I feel at the moment. I've been listening to the audiobook, chapter 14, maybe a little bit further because of my audiobook, but it's okay so far. I'm not loving it. I'm not itching to pick up the book. You're getting thrown into this book. The character you know nothing about. You don't know anything about this world. This character is going after this thief. The character you're in the brain of knows nothing about the world. She doesn't even know her name. She doesn't know her history. She doesn't know how she came about in this world. Everything just makes no sense to me. I love webtoons, and I'm currently in a point where I've noticed that a lot of the webtoons I read have this reincarnation formula, or they're from the modern world and they're getting pulled into this random fantasy book that they read, so they know a little bit about the world and whatnot. And I love my webtoons that are like that. Like, it's so good. But the way this book is going about something very similar as to my webtoons that I read, it's not being done. There's just something about this is not rubbing me right. I don't know. I need to get further into this book to give you more of my feelings, but right now, I don't know. Stuff is just not making sense to me. Everything about the world is confusing. I don't know. It's a lot of secrets. I'm not loving it. I'm not hating it. So I'm gonna keep reading it. I'm at about 100 pages in, and the book is about 400 pages long. We'll get through it eventually, but that is currently what I'm in the middle of. And I'm also currently in the middle of Tower Dawn and Empire Storm. I'm still working on my tandem read. I'm still working on it. It's been a while since I've read any of it because I've been a little busy. I haven't been able to sit down and physically read a book. I'm still in my audiobook stage. Still got a lot of stuff going on in my semester. Anyways, I'm at page 276, chapter 31 in Empire Storm. And Tower of Dawn, I am at page 356, chapter 30. So I was very far off on how far I was through these books, but I'm making progress. I'm getting there, but I'm enjoying my time while reading, slowly getting through these. I'm ready to see what April has in store, how quickly I'll get through some of these. Today is a week into April. I'm ready to finish a book at some point here soon. And with the semester coming to an end, I don't see myself getting through a lot this month as well. That's just how the cookie crumbles. So we'll have to wait and see. My graduation is at the start of May. So once May hits, my life's gonna be completely different. Complete 180 of my life. I'm not gonna even be in this apartment no more. My background's gonna be different. My living situation's gonna be different. You're not gonna see this background for much longer in these videos. So I don't know what's gonna happen once I graduate and I move. We'll have to wait and see, but that's where I'm gonna wrap up here. April has a lot in store for me, and I'm excited to see what books I get around to. So I want to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking time out of your morning, your evening, and night to click on this video and watching it all the way through. Seriously, I really appreciate it, and I will be getting a reading vlog out to y'all at some point. Just hold your horses. I'm sorry that it took me so long to even give you another video. I feel really bad, but thank you for sticking around and watching this video. I really appreciate it. So thank you truly for sticking around and watching. Bye.